Hello, and welcome to NMA Newsmakers. I'm Jamie Caswell with the National Mining Association. I'm talking today with Steve Wunning, Group President of Caterpillar, a leader in the manufacture of construction and mining equipment. Today we are discussing the importance of Caterpillar's machinery to mining, the future of the industry, and the energy debate. Good morning, Steve, and thank you for joining us today.
Good morning, Jamie.
Caterpillar is the world's leading manufacturer of construction and mining equipment. That gives you a unique perspective on a variety of industries. What's your outlook on the future of mining?
Well, Jamie, certainly the last couple of years in mining has been very, very difficult. But the long-term future of mining, we think, is very, very positive. And even today, today mining production is up this year over last year for most commodities, and consumption of commodities for most commodities around the world is also up, so that's a good sign. But long term, there's a lot of things to really like about the mining industry. For example, the world population continues to grow. In fact, the population is growing at about 6.5 million people every month. And to put that into perspective, we're here in Washington, D.C., and in the Washington-Baltimore metropolitan area, there's about 9 million people. So just think about it. The world population is growing the size of Washington, Baltimore every 6 weeks. And that's going to continue as far as the eye can see. The second point is that more people live in the cities than in the country for the first time in the history of mankind. And what I see and what I hear is that by 2030, 2035, 60% of the world population will be in the cities. And the third point is that the standard of living of people in the developing countries are rising very rapidly. And if you just look at the GDP per capita from 2010, and the experts say that it will almost double by 2018. So with the population growth, more people living in cities, and the standard of living increasing for a lot of people in the world, just think about the demand for energy, for hospitals, for roads, for airports, for bridges, for buildings, for schools. And that's what mining does. So the opportunity and the outlook for mining is very, very bright long term. And sure, there's going to be ups and down cycles throughout that period, but the trend is very, very favorable.
And what do you think are some of the biggest challenges the mining industry faces?
Well, like in any industry, there's always a lot of challenges. And the one that I'd like to speak today is talk a little bit about energy and the environment. Because it seems like when people talk about energy, particularly fossil fuels and the environment, it becomes an either-or discussion. Either we're going to have higher energy levels and more fossil fuel and sacrificing the environment, or we're going to have less energy to maintain and improve our environment. And I think that's wrong. I think what we have to be thinking about is energy and the environment. Because what the world is really experiencing today on the energy side is what I call energy poverty. Just think about it. There's 3 billion people on this planet that do not have adequate access to electricity. And what they have to do is they use wood, charcoal, and animal waste to heat and cook. 1.2 billion children do not have access to electricity. And even in the United States, there's 50 million people that are at the poverty level or below. And a household income of $30,000 spends more on energy than they do on food, health care, or clothing. Almost 25% of their take-home pay. So what we have to do is to solve the energy poverty, not only throughout the world, but also in the United States, and do it in a way that gives us a cleaner environment. So this has got to be an and, not an either-or. So I think that's one of the bigger challenges for mining today.
You've outlined some significant challenges, so what do we do to solve them?
Well, it's a very complex challenge, there's no question about that. But if we address this, we can make a huge advancement. And the world has addressed some very challenging issues throughout history. We've solved plagues. We've found a cure for polio. We put a man on the moon, and we landed a spaceship on Mars. If we can do that, we can solve the energy poverty issue and at the same time clean the environment. But what that takes is that takes people working together with an open mind, collaborating with a common mission, where business, government, universities, scientists, environmentalists working together for this common cause to solve this. It's a big challenge, but we can do that. But this has no boundaries. This can't be solved at the state level. It can't be just solved in the United States because the environment knows no boundaries. So this is going to have to be a global initiative where people working around the world to solve this energy poverty and a cleaner environment.
So what solutions does Caterpillar believe in?
Well, the first solution is that we all work together on this common goal. But I think the ultimate solution is going to be kind of all of the above. We're going to need fossil fuels. We'll need oil and gas and coal. There's no question about that. We need renewables. We even need nuclear. But what we have to have is a comprehensive plan so that we can best utilize these energy sources to solve this problem and invest in technology and in science to make sure that we can use these sources in a clean and an affordable way. And I think that's going to be the way that we get to this solution.
And most people have probably never heard Caterpillar talk about energy. Why now?
It's a very good question, Jamie, because many people do not think about Caterpillar and energy in the same breath. But if you think about it, energy is a big part of our company. A lot of our customers are energy companies. And also our plants. Our plants are big consumers of energy. And our machines and our equipment, they require fuel to do all the work that they do around the world. And our employees, our people, thinks that this is a very important issue and they want to play a part in helping solve this problem. So that's why we feel now is the right time for Caterpillar to become more involved in a proactive manner in this discussion.
You've talked a lot about the idea of sustainability. Why is that important to Caterpillar?
Well, sustainability is important to Caterpillar, but it's important to each and every one of us. And it's something we think is incredibly important to do, and it's interchangeable with energy. You can't talk about energy and not talk about sustainability. And it's so important to our company is that we made it one of our core company values. And now we have 5 values. For a long, long time, we just had 4 values of integrity, commitment, excellence, and teamwork. And just this past year, we added sustainability. It's who we are, it's our belief system, it's in our DNA. And we're very, very committed to that. And that's why we did that.
Thank you for talking with us today, Steve. That wraps up today's interview with special guest Steve Wunning, Group President of Caterpillar. Please check back here in the near future for the next edition of NMA Newsmakers.